Nerdrotic.com.
Chris, why don't you give us our, again, chat, this will be a spoiler-free review of The Flash.
So here we go. I'm going to go up until we get to I'll tell you some bullet point story stuff up until we get to midpoint or, not anything really from the third act, but you can see where things are going.
Yeah.
So it starts off with actually kind of a cool action scene involving the Justice League. Without Superman, by the way, he's off doing something else. So they need Barry's help. Right. And it's actually a pretty funny scene. It's a pretty funny scene where basically, Batman is chasing down some criminals and the suit that he has on is literally the colors of the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns Batman, the blue and gray.
So the one we've seen in the trailer, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's so cool. So he's off doing one task. Wonder Woman's off doing something else we don't know. And Barry has to deal with this hospital where a maternity ward, a bunch of babies have fallen out a window and he's trying to save them all. It's actually a pretty funny scene. In any case, that's resolved. The whole Justice League action scene, which I won't go into too much detail, is resolved. Barry reconnects with Bruce. He reconnects with an old friend from college, and he's reminded of the loss of his mother. His father is some new possible evidence has been introduced, and his father may get released based on this evidence. And he's just lamenting the loss of his mom when he was a kid. I mean, it's a thing that's a scar. It's a thing that also connects him to Bruce Wayne because, loss of family, loss of parents, and all of that. Barry suddenly discovers during that action scene, he can slightly go back in time. He figures this out. Could he use that to save his mom? Could he figure out exactly how to do that? And has a conversation with Bruce, not as Batman, about the ethics of doing that, changing time. What would that entail? What are the dangers, etc.? Well, of course, stupidly, he decides to do it and sees his mom and his dad. And okay, I don't want to go into too much detail, but basically he sees a version of himself that's younger than him before he got his powers. About 18 years old. I would say Barry's 25. This is a younger, dumber, stupider. He's like a younger brother. So the first half of the movie is him kind of figuring all that out. He's got a version of Barry that has no powers. He's an idiot. It's very much like Back to the Future 2. In fact, there's a Back to the Future reference because in this multiverse, this universe, Eric Stoltz starred in Back to the Future. In fact, one of Barry's roommates has an Eric Stoltz Back to the Future tattoo on his leg, which it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. I will say the movie is very cleverly written. Here's the issue, and is that Ezra Miller's not a leading man. He's not a leading man. Ben Affleck, leading man. Henry Cavill, leading man. Jason Momoa, depending. I think Jason Momoa was really good in Fast X. I think he's a great Joker type villain. Ezra Miller's not a leading man. You've got Ezra Miller, which is already kind of annoying, and you've got a more annoying version of him that's younger, stupider, more impulsive, doesn't understand how the Flash powers work. So it's like at the very beginning, you kind of get to see Barry is re-experiencing his origin through a younger version of him. Come to find out there's a crisis. Zod appears in this version of Earth because he's not only gone to a different multiverse, he's gone further back in time in this particular version of Earth. Zod appears and Barry's first thought is we got to find the Justice League. There is no Justice League in this universe, right? So they go looking for where's Superman? Where's Wonder Woman? They're searching. They do find a Bruce Wayne, and they do go to Wayne Manor. And this is when this is an hour into the film, by the way.
And this is all pretty much in the trailer. So
yeah, this is all pretty much in the trailer, but I'll just say this. I'm cringing, some of these jokes don't land. Two Ezra Millers are just kind of annoying. He even does some things in it. You thought he was like when he goes to visit his mom, he doesn't have he's in his Flash costume. He doesn't have clothes. So he has to he steals some clothes from an old lady, so he's wearing like a woman's top. It's very much what a they them would wear. Exactly. And then there's even another scene where the other version of Barry is completely naked, and not just for a little bit of time, like a lot. He's naked a lot. You see his butt very clear. The only thing you see are the you don't see the twigs and berries, as Alan said on our stream, so to speak. There's like, and I'm sitting here in a room with like 7-year-olds watching this film thinking this is kind of inappropriate. Like the amount of nudity, one quick thing, like a copper tone.
Maybe not for Hollywood.
And I'm like, this is going on, like this amount of nudity is just a little too much. So now it's all played like innocent and goofy and fun or whatever, but it's just a little like, I just say it's alarming. It's alarming. I will say this, that the director definitely is not a hot phobe. There's like in the Justice League action opening scene, you see a very clear shot. It might've been because I was in the front row in IMAX, of Wonder Woman's ass. Like basically her mini skirt kind of flips up and it's like, did we just see like Wonder Woman's ass? And he lingers a little too long on Supergirl's ass too. No complaints, by the way. No complaints, but it's just nice to see it. It seems like there's an effort to desexualize. Look at Guardians 3, desexualize women in entertainment and just not allow them to be sexual or even just attractive in a female sense. And damn, Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot looks smoking hot. Supergirl, very feminine version of Supergirl. She may not have the skirt, but she has the ass. I'll just say that. So they go to Wayne Manor, and there is basically a recluse Bruce Wayne, older. I would say very much like Bruce Wayne from the beginning of the Dark Knight Returns comic. Gray, long, like you don't recognize him. He's a hermit, effectively. But what was really cool, there's an action scene when you meet Bruce Wayne that's in the kitchen. They recreated the kitchen from Batman 89.
That's awesome.
Remember the scene with Vicky Vale, Alfred, and they're in the kitchen. It's that kitchen. Like now, only as a nerd, I think you'll recognize it in a minute. I'm like, holy shit, that's exactly the kitchen. I know, stupid detail, but that's what a big fan. It's really the director, I think, did a lot with what he had, and I think the script is very clever. So they need to convince Bruce Wayne of the threat of who this guy Zod is. They have to find Superman. This is all Flashpoint stuff. They go to like get Superman is like in this compound with the Russians. So they go there, except it's not Superman, it's Supergirl. They break her out. And then it's sort of a half-assed version of the Justice League versus Zod, and he is undefeatable. The first half of the movie is just like, it feels more like a comedy more than anything. The first half is a comedy. And if you're not an Ezra Miller fan, it's going to be hard to.
It sounds very. It sounds very No Way Home to me. Like they spend an hour getting to what people really want to see.
Right.
No Way Home stuck the landing. Had a very satisfying ending. Flipped some stuff that even one thing I wasn't happy with, but for the most part, really good fun movie at the end.
Michael Keaton in this movie is fucking amazing. My face hurt from smiling. He's so good. It's the Batman we wanted him to be. I mean, obviously they were technologically restrained in 89 and 92, but man, the stuntman they got to play him, because obviously it's not Michael Keaton. He's a much older dude. But damn, he's in the suit. He's a badass.
So we get to see him fighting. I mean, that's why I like Batman Returns more than Batman, because he fights in that movie.
He fights a lot in this, and he's got the gear, and also he's a confident he's full Batman, right? And he's having to deal with effectively two dipshit Robins, effectively, right? So there's some comic relief.
So would you say does it truly turn into a Batman movie when he shows up?
Because I don't really care about anyone other than Batman at that point. So for me, it is. Obviously, the director is a huge, like knows his DC movies. and knows his DC lore. So there's so much in this to love, but it's getting to the second half of the movie. But yeah, it's not a Batman movie per se. It's more of a Justice. It's like a team up movie, but Batman dominates because he's the leader. You know, he's the smart one. Barry knows stuff that Batman doesn't know just because he experienced the world surviving Zod, and they're just, you know, they don't have a Superman. They don't have a Superman. They have a Supergirl, but Supergirl is not Zod. Michael Keaton is so good. You're reminded why he was like so good in that role. He just freaking nails it, and it's a broken Batman. It's Batman.
Oh God.
That's but a Batman that's like once he puts this, he's freaking full Batman.
That's awesome.
It's and it's implied that things have occurred between the time we last saw him and where we are, because there's no Alfred. There's no Alfred.
Well, yeah. He was pretty old.
Yeah. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
And
Yeah. We should leave
anything
that alone.
else you want to know, I'll answer the question. But that the second half of the movie is going to.
You said the second half gets much better. Like it just moves better and it becomes like a real superhero. You also said that this is the most, and this is not a compliment, buddy. You said it's the most Marvel of DC movies.
Yeah, it is. It is the most Marvel of DC movies. No, but when Marvel was good.
Okay. You have to make that distinction now. Is it pre-Endgame or post-Endgame?
Right. Well, it's pre-Endgame, but it's also a good mix of comedy, drama, stakes, real stakes. And I think after this, DC will not revisit multiverse stories. Multiverse and time travel F's things up, because what you can do is you can just fix any problem. And this movie really like leans right into that of like, in terms of like, I don't think the future DC films and the DC universe will deal with any time travel or multiverse stories at all. We're going to land in a particular universe and that's where we are. Yeah.
Stay there. And it can also just explain everything else. So to say that, that's what they did in the comics. They wanted to reset everything, right. But they wanted to try to go, well, the stuff you read still counted. Okay. It just, we're moving to a different universe. Problem is, it didn't work for everybody. But I'll say Crisis on Infinite Earths in the 80s worked for me for a lot of reasons. I think they kind of needed to do it. But it also led to like horrible things later when they started resetting their universe over and over again. And that's the trap you get into with this. And that's why I agree. They should just, well, the thing is, here's the problem though. They still got the Matt Reeves Batman, which is in another world. So those, as long as they never meet, that's fine. But I think they gave Matt Reeves one more movie just to save face. That's what I think. Like the movie did good enough to earn a sequel. Definitely did good enough to earn a sequel. But it didn't like light the world on fire. So it's like, let's give him another movie and move on to another Batman.
Here's the problem though. Okay, so the screening that I saw.
Yeah.
Saw the end of the film, the climax, everything resolved. Barry is back. Everything's, back to quote normal. He gets a call from Bruce Wayne. He's going to meet Barry. A car rolls up. Bruce Wayne is about to come out of the car. You see a foot. The lights come on in the movie theater.
They ended the movie, which I think is really smart on their part, to be honest with you.
No credits. It just, the lights came on and we're like, wait, what? So there's,
that's happened.
I don't know
before.
what happens. They could put anyone in there. It could be Christian Bale. It could be anybody. So
if it was Christian Bale, that would be pretty fucking cool. I admit that would be honestly, I'd be happy. I mean, Ben Affleck would be kind of the obvious choice. But I guess it could be Adam. It could be freaking anybody. It could be any Batman whatsoever. It could be anybody. So
But is this, and then
Is it going to be
here's
the
my
new Batman? That's the question. No, it's not. I don't
That's the
think
thing.
so.
That's the thing. It could be whoever the new Batman that's being cast in Brave and the Bold, the James Gunn produced film as part of the new DC universe. I don't know. So we didn't see it. And then is there going to be a mid-credit scene, a post-credit scene? Like how, like obviously there's a lot they can do in that chunk. And I mean, look, there's 3 weeks until this movie opens. They shot a scene for the Avengers a week, like after the world premiere. And before it opened in theaters, they shot an additional scene that they just added a week before the movie. So it is entirely possible they could be in the casting phase for a new Batman, and this could be whoever the new Batman is in the DC universe.
And all the
right?
Superman casting rumors is obfuscating all the Batman. Like, that'd be funny. That'd be pretty funny if they did that.
It would be weird, but what I'm telling you is I can't answer this question because I didn't see it. So I'm going to guess that the version of the movie that you see on the 12th, Gary, you'll know the answers to those questions.
Yep.
I don't know why they would show an incomplete version of you. I get that it's like 3 weeks before the movie, they're going to show an incomplete. The one thing that did strike me, and I saw it with my friend who saw the test screening over a year ago, he said the digital effects in this have not been upgraded from the test screening that he saw.
Oh,
and they're not great.
Now, did the director come out and say, because you said the director was at the screening, correct?
Did.
Okay. Did he come out and say these are unfinished?
He's not at the screening, but they showed a video of him with his sister, who's the producer, and she said, or that he said that like these, the movie's not finished, the effects aren't finished. So it is possible that there'll be improved effects. But yeah, like there are a couple scenes where you're just like, they
looked really rubbery in the trailer. Like they look like Gumbies fighting each other. So that's going to be, I hope, they got to fix that.
But I don't know. I feel like almost like Hollywood doesn't care. It's like, wait, more money to make it look better. Why does that matter? So, but I will say this, at the end of the day, my final takeaway of this thing is I want to see it again. It's very entertaining. Once you get past the first hour, like it's like that, like you pointed out with No Way Home, like the first chunk of that movie is, let's get to the good part. And then once it gets to the good, then it's on. And that's the same thing here. I'm telling you, Michael Keaton is Batman in this. I want to go see it again just for that. And I might go see it a third time, but I would walk in an hour late.
But you're definitely going to see it a second time.
The first
now,
part.
100%. Well, I need to see it because I don't know what happens at the.
Okay, if you knew what happened at the end, let's just say it was satisfying. Would you go see it again?
Actually, I would, because it's entertaining, and it's God. I kind of don't want to say. I want to say, and I don't want to say. We kind of talked about earlier. Let's just say outcomes for certain multiverse Earths. Some are good and some are not.
Oh, well, we could say without being specific.
Yes.
Lots of cameos.
Oh, a lot. Like there are a lot. When there were like rumored cameos for Multiverse of Madness?
Yep.
And then there were zero.
Yep.
Like they're gonna have Tom Cruise as Iron Man. Yeah, this one goes nuts. It's the thing you can just, dude, I'm freaking out at like, I'm not going to say any specific cameos. All I'll just say is you are going to have a DC boner when you, when you're watching this, because it was worth it to say that just for the look on X-Ray Girl's face. If you're just a DC fan of
Oh no.
TV and movies in the DC realm, you're going to go freaking nuts. Movies from DC that were never even made. I'm just telling you, be prepared. And you're gonna, like, God, I saw it in IMAX. I was in the first row. I literally was just looking across the screen because there are a couple scenes where just so much is happening on screen at once. You cannot see all of it. Like, people will have a field day when this comes out on digital or Blu-ray, because you're gonna have to like freeze frame to catch it all. It's freaking great. I mean, a lot of it is focused on, so you see like the big ones, but I know that I missed a few. I'm 100% certain I missed a few because so much is happening at once. In sort of a multiverse where there's like a multiverse, it's represented by like kind of like crystal balls in a way. I guess the best way to describe it, like crystal balls with like a lot of shit. It's like those are multiverses, and holy shit, Gary, it's awesome. It's just awesome.
It's got some
All you can say is plenty of opportunities to go to the bathroom during the first hour, but don't hit the bathroom in the last hour 20. That's it. So
there you go.
Okay, plan your bathroom breaks. Got it.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.
Hey, if you like what we do here at Nerdrotic Daily, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you could do that with your favorite YouTuber as well, I'm sure they would appreciate it as much as I do.